Springtime weather can be a little uncertain, and so waking up to a windy day and a hot cup of coffee, well, that just means that we're going to be inside for the day, doesn't it?
That's right. We are finding things to do inside so that we can take advantage of the weather, what it's like outside right now. And of course, there's no shortage of things to do inside as well. So any excuse to spend a little bit more time doing the things that we need to do inside is it's not so hard.
I actually love how on the farm, your actions for the day are really dictated by the weather. They dictate what type of food you feel like eating, what your plans are in terms of going outside and taking advantage of a sunny day, or tucking in and taking advantage of a windy day. And for us today, that looked like a nice farm fresh breakfast before a day of jam making.
It's amazing what you can do this time of year, just with the things that are coming out of the garden. It takes so little effort to make something really quite exquisite, just because there's so much abundance right now with the greens and the farm fresh eggs.
And greens are so forgiving. They grow so quickly. And something like spinach where you can cut and come again, or chive flowers that will continually grow well into the summer. It's just the gift that keeps on giving. There are days where you want to hit the ground running, and I can get frustrated that we have to eat, we have to get dressed, we have to tend to our chores. But there is something about slowing down for a moment and just resting in the moment. Breakfast is sort of one of those things.
Yeah, breakfast can kind of set the pace for the day as well, can it? It either sets the day for something hectic and you're rushing to just get something on the table so that you can get going, or it sets the pace for just a bit more relaxing day, maybe not so frantic.
Kind of like the weather. Regardless of the wind outside, there is rhubarb to be harvested, and this is the perfect time to do so. One of my very favorite ways to take advantage of spring rhubarb is to make jam. I have lots of beautiful green rhubarb, but my red rhubarb hasn't done so well. So I called in a favor and waited on a special delivery from my mom. Luckily, Mom will trade almost anything for a latte.
Latte is it's a good currency around here.
It is. It always surprises me how quickly it comes time to do rhubarb preserves in the springtime. You see it kind of bubbling up from the earth. It looks like a little red brain, and then all of a sudden it just explodes. And that's where we are at right now. So I'm excited to make this ginger and cinnamon honey sweetened rhubarb jam with you. I use honey to sweeten all of my jams and jellies and fruit preserves. I buy it in a 5-gallon bucket from Azure Standard once every couple of years. And it's a much more cost-effective way to sweeten the jams and jellies when you don't want to use white sugar. We're going to do it a little bit of a controversial way because we're going to do it the British way, which is to hot pack it. And what that means is we're going to simmer the fruit and spices and honey together. We're going to put it into a sterilized jar, put the lid on, and then flip it upside down. And then as it cools, it sucks that air in and it creates the suction on top. If your jam doesn't seal doing it this way, it's no problem. You can either water can it or heat up the jam and try again. So you can tell if it's not going to take or not. But this is a really great way to do jams and jellies because you don't have to heat up your water canner. I'm not ready to go there yet, especially at this time in the season. It's a cool, windy day out there, so it's really the perfect day for jam making. We grow red and green rhubarb here on the farm, and my mom was kind enough to bring me a giant basket of her red rhubarb because mine is still pretty small. But the green rhubarb has done very well for the last couple of years. It doesn't create as beautiful of a jam. I'm not even sure why I planted this. I should have planted the red variety just because it's prettier, but it tastes the exact same. So, you know what? No one cares in the middle of the winter when you make pancakes and you have warm homemade jam to put on top. Nobody cares what color it is. They care how it tastes. And this one tastes really good. For this recipe in its entirety with all the exact measurements, make sure you check out the notes below. I'll post it there. A lot of people think that they don't like rhubarb. It's kind of confusing. Like, is this red celery? Is this a vegetable, a fruit? I don't know. But what I do know is that the tartness with the spice of the ginger and the cinnamon and the sweetness of the honey is the perfect jam.
I feel like rhubarb is one of those things that lends itself to a bit of experimentation. You can try different combinations of things and really see what works well together, and the margin of error is pretty large. You can kind of experiment and take the opportunity just to kind of get to know these flavors a little bit better, and you can still end up with something very delicious, even if it wasn't quite what you wanted.
I remember being a young girl and being in my grandfather's kitchen, and we would be making apple butter, peanut butter, jams and jellies, and the smell of this simmering on the stove still reminds me of that. And he had this root cellar underneath his kitchen, and I was terrified to go down there, but he would send me down to get jams and jellies for breakfast, and I hated it. I hope that my kids don't have the same memories of our root cellar.
It's always pretty easy to tell whether or not your recipe's been a success. The kids come in and
even worth venturing down to the root cellar for,
yeah.
you think?
Exactly.